What's up, everybody? Welcome to our next episode of Knockout Sessions. I'm back. I'm sorry for my absence.
He was cuter.
He was.
He was nicer.
He was. I was out there getting my tan on.
He's friendly.
I was out there on the beach. I was doing my thing.
To me,
I was doing my thing. But this man is no longer safe. So for every one of y'all that had to put up with him leading the way, I'm back.
Okay.
So
don't act like you didn't miss me. I didn't miss you.
the feeling is mutual, regardless of
We
the
agree.
fact. All right,
Let's get these
but y'all
knockouts.
miss me.
Let's get these knockout sessions on the roll.
Y'all missed me. And so with that being said, we begin with what's coming up this weekend. Another audition by Jaime Munguia taking on John Ryder this Saturday in Glendale, Arizona.
Yep. And yeah, it's an audition. 168-pound audition fight. But kind of going back to Munguia versus Derevyanchenko, this has very similar vibes. I know we've touched base on this because John Ryder's a very live underdog. He was there to fucking fight against Canelo, so there's no reason why John Ryder's not here to give Jaime Munguia a good fight, you know. So it is an audition, but Jaime Munguia, based on, you know, expectations, he should have passed. But I think I might actually bet on John Ryder. He looked good against Colin Smith. He looked decent against Danny Jacobs. He obviously broke Canelo's nose. And he's younger than Derevyanchenko.
How much are we betting?
No, we don't bet each other.
Oh, I'm sorry. How much are you betting with my friend? Let me tell y'all something. John Ryder, it's a good fight for Munguia to set on his resume. You got a mutual fighter of the guy that Jaime Munguia wants to fight with. We won't mention him because, you know, he's above this discussion. But, you know, it makes sense. If it makes dollars, it makes sense. And
obviously, Canelo ain't that above the discussion because apparently Munguia is still in the little hat jar, the little fucking sweepstakes of potentially fighting Canelo in May.
That hat should only have one name on it.
Look, Julio, I know you've been gone for the last 2 months and you fucking missed everything that we've been talking about for the last 2 months.
I tuned in.
But again, did not expect Canelo, or we're not expecting Canelo to officially fight Beterbiev in May, but that's not what we're talking about.
No, we're not, but it should not be in discussion with Munguia either. Munguia,
yes, technically no, it should not be in discussion, but the fact that you want to play this innocent little girl who doesn't know that fucking boxing does this to you is ridiculous.
No, I know what boxing does to me.
So why are you so surprised?
Because John Ryder's a very weird way of saying Edgar Berlanga. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me those lines.
I know, but in this situation, we've had Jaime Munguia take on those high-level B-tier guys. Berlanga has not even touched a B-tier guy.
No, but the name value is at least there. Like, to say I took...
Yeah, for Munguia.
Yeah.
But that's not Munguia's fault. Again, we're going back to the exact chaos.
I know, politics.
Berlanga is the one who needs to step up.
Absolutely.
Because I'm pretty sure Munguia would be down. I don't think Berlanga's down. That's the problem here. There was a lot of hype behind Berlanga because of his knockout streaks, but...
You can't tell me in Mexico versus Puerto Rico, undefeated versus undefeated.
Obviously, I want to see it.
Salivating.
That's not what we're arguing.
At this level of fighting.
No one's arguing that. We're arguing that Berlanga won't step up.
I know, but like the fact that I personally think Munguia is going to beat Ryder decision. He's not knocking him out, if I'm going to be completely honest here.
And if he does?
Well, if he does.
Ooh, now suddenly he's in the mix.
Now we got some salsita on them tacos, you know what I'm saying? But John Ryder, like you said, he's not a pushover. He's not a pushover. He's there to give a fight. He's there to possibly spoil your night. I don't think he will. Although Munguia's looked very suspect coming off that fight with Derevyanchenko, like you said. So I expect Munguia to kind of win. I think he'll give up maybe about 3 rounds, maybe. He's a younger fighter. Hopefully he's actually shows us some defensive qualities this time too.
Yeah, because I think that's where Derevyanchenko really capitalized on Munguia, his super lack of defense. Even though it's gotten better, even his combos, his offense has gotten better.
His jab is kind of trying to take off.
Literally, all it is just a lot of volume. He has pop, just because he overwhelms you with volume. And he's pretty big for his size.
Yeah, even at 168.
Even at 168, he's pretty big. So the question here, even though you don't want to talk about it, is if Munguia wins, what's next? Because obviously Berlanga right now doesn't have anything scheduled, but do we really believe that if Munguia shows out, that's going to make Berlanga want to come and fight him?
If it's not Berlanga, I got an easy answer for you because...
Morel.
No.
Why not?
I mean, that'd be fun. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't want to...
Show me some emotion. Like, damn.
Plant.
Yes, I would love to see him against
Munguia. Plant would be... Boo-boo. Or Boo-boo. Get a slick boxer in there with Munguia because he hasn't faced a slick boxer recently.
No, they've all been just fucking
brawlers.
Yep.
I mean, Derevyanchenko has some slickness to him, but he's there to trade in the pocket if he has to. So I think I would like to see that. If not, then Morel would be amazing. If not, give me Morel Berlanga.
We're talking that Berlanga doesn't want to take out Munguia. I mean, maybe he does because he's less proven.
And he has to show something.
Yeah.
And now these other dance partners are getting taken.
Yeah. But what if John Ryder wins? What does he do to steer the pot?
Easy. Ryder Benavidez. Because if Canelo's going to fight Benavidez in May, then we might as well do Ryder Benavidez. See, that's boxing for you now, isn't it?
Because that's probably what happened. That literally would happen. And we were still... But the only reason I can defend that is because it wouldn't be Canelo's fight. Then Canelo has to fight Charlo. Or fucking Berlanga.
I mean, yeah. Or Canelo Morel.
But I really don't see why you would skip Charlo to go to Morel. That makes zero sense in my mind.
No, because I saw the video. I mean, I agree that it's unfinished business, and the boxing fans are just, you can never make them happy. It's true. I'm one of them. You can't make me happy because I firmly believe in leveling the field for the tier of fighter that you are. For example, Munguia is not a bad fighter. He's not S tier like Canelo and Benavidez, but he could fight a Caleb Plant. He could fight a Boo-Boo. He could fight a Charlo. You know what I'm saying? So John Ryder's a C tier fighter.
Nah, he's a solid B plus.
He's a C to B.
Bro, he pieced up Canelo.
He didn't piece him up. He just took the best he could. He just broke his nose.
Broken nose. He fucking... Many people
Canelo pieced up Ryder.
They pieced each other up.
Debatable.
And a lot of people had him winning over Colin Smith when they fought.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. So that's
Ryder's not
like B plus. That's a B plus.
He's a low end B.
Okay, B minus. I'm sorry.
You know what I'm saying? But it'll be a fun fight. We'll see. We'll really see. This is more about obviously Munguia, what he can show us, than about Ryder upsetting. Now, if Ryder can upset, then my lord, what a couple strings of upsets we had lately. Yeah. But ultimately, this is Munguia's fight to win.
Yep.
This is his audition. I don't know if it's enough to get himself a fight with Daddy Nello, but
now I do want to speak of disappointments. Because Keith Thurman and Tszyu is a fucking disappointment, and prove me wrong. Keith Thurman versus Tszyu. How is... You are ridiculous if you're excited about this, and if Canelo fucking fights Charlo, you're fucking disappointed, but you're happy that Tszyu and Keith Thurman is happening after we just had a podcast about Virgil Ortiz? After we have been talking about Tszyu versus Charlo? You're really going to tell me Keith Thurman deserves this fucking fight? Please explain to your audience your fucking...
I haven't said anything yet. You're literally having a conversation by yourself.
Yes, because I know you fucking are pro this fight.
No, you're assuming.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, okay. Then let's start at the top. I know where you're going with this. It's disappointing that Tszyu's not fighting Charlo. Let's begin with that.
Are you happy with the fight?
Tszyu Thurman? I'm surprised more than anything.
That's not what I asked you.
Am I happy with it? Yes and no.
But que pobre que fuera Canelo Charlo.
Well, can I explain my point? Which one do you want? Yes or no?
Because Thurman's in the same fucking boat as Charlo.
Yeah.
And active as fuck.
Yeah. This isn't about Thurman. This is about Tszyu.
No, this is... Yes. Yes.
You're in blind rage right now.
This was ridiculous to me. This was ridiculous.
You finally know what it's like to be me.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. The tables have turned around here. So, the reason it's disappointing is because we did want to see Tszyu versus Charlo. It was time for it. That's why it's disappointing to us as fans. Now, if it's Tszyu fighting Keith Thurman, there's only one logical answer to this, and this is the only reason why I can understand this happening.
Bud is fighting Charlo.
Exactly. That's the only way. If in the next couple weeks we don't get a report that Bud is fighting Charlo, what happened? And I feel like it's not Tszyu's fault. This is Charlo's fault. Somehow, some way, this all goes back to Charlo not fighting Tszyu. Now, we move over to Tszyu fighting Keith Thurman. The reason I'm surprised is because Keith Thurman, I thought, was trying to campaign in the welterweight division still.
No, because technically when they were announcing the Spence-Thurman fight was going to be at 154 before they announced Bud versus Spence.
Yeah, but I really thought Thurman was going to wait it out, see what Bud is going to do. Maybe he stays at 147 and maybe he fights, maybe with Boots or Spence.
Yeah, but the inactivity just...
That's where I think Thurman's not going to beat Tszyu. Now, it's a fun fight because it's a name that Tszyu can put on his name, and Keith Thurman is basically kind of like... putting a Hail Mary in his career, now 35, saying, you know what, I'm going to move up. If Thurman can beat Tszyu, wouldn't that be like a shock around the world?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yes, but...
It's kind of like...
It's just one of those things that we keep talking about of why are these other fighters getting these opportunities that doesn't make sense?
Well, okay, so Tszyu was not going to fight Charlo. Who should Tszyu have fought?
Virgil Ortiz. We just had this conversation. Virgil called him out. We were talking about this.
Okay, I can see that. But
Virgil should have fought Keith Thurman.
I think Virgil knows right now he loses to Tszyu.
No, he doesn't because he called him out.
He called him out because you're going to try to kind of promote
Virgil then should have fought Keith Thurman.
Yeah, but who knew that Keith Thurman was out here trying to campaign for a title shot right off the rip?
Apparently Tszyu.
Yeah, well, Tszyu took the fight.
Apparently.
Hey, it's a money fight too because Keith Thurman still generates the old heads.
I don't know.
I think it's a fun fight.
I mean, it'll be competitive. He didn't look bad when he fought against Barrios. But then again, how long has that been already? And before he fought Barrios, how long was he gone for?
See, that's the problem with
We're talking about like in the last 4 or 5 years, he's fought twice?
Yeah, so the problem with Thurman, I as a fan, that I have a problem with him is that he fights once every 2 years. That's literally what the Keith Thurman experience has been like the last 6 years. I don't think he's going to beat Tszyu. He can possibly make it competitive. He did look shredded, like you said, against Mario Barrios, and he's pretty big for welterweight as it was. I don't know. I think this is just one of those. It's because it's Amazon's first card that they're trying to generate as much attention possible, and Thurman's really kind of the bigger star between him and Tszyu right now. Let's be honest. Tszyu's a better fighter.
Yeah.
But Keith Thurman is the more mainstream fighter.
But I mean, do you really think that's pay-per-view worthy? That's the biggest second disappointment.
Yes, it is.
To that.
Because of the co-main event.
Which is?
Rolly versus Hibbert.
Okay, I mean, that's just pretty... that's decent.
You know what I'm saying?
Which
was recently announced
to Ryan Garcia all over again because he had just posted Rolly 2 days ago, April something against Rolly, and then Rolly just laughed in his face and said, "Psych, I got fucking Isaac booked."
What a roller coaster ride for Ryan.
It's his fault.
I agree.
I know you missed my conversation about this, but this is 100% Ryan's fault because there was no reason why he should have stopped trying to make the fight with Devin Haney. Devin Haney was willing to fight him. They're both under the zone. That was an easy fight to make. There was no reason why Ryan should have fucked those deals up. Now, he burned the bridge with Devin. He burned the bridge with Rolly. He burned the bridge with Isaac. He might have burned the bridge with Jose Ramirez, but they're both the golden boy.
De La Hoya is going to force that fight.
Yeah, now, I mean, that's the best you can do unless he takes on Subrez Matias.
Garcia. The thing with Garcia is that he got into this thing of trying to start a bidding war, and it bit him in the ass.
100%, because nobody carried away for him at this point.
No, because like you said, it's the two dance. It's like if you go to a dance and you have this pretty girl that you're eyeing, which I guess in this case for Ryan, the pretty girl was Rolly, but want to make other girls beg for him too.
No, I think it's backwards. I think the pretty girl was Haney.
The prettiest girl was Haney, but the one Ryan liked was Rolly.
Yes.
And now because of that stubbornness and cockiness, all the girls said, "Nah, we got different dance partners." Two of them decided to be dance partners together, and so now he's looking at the uglier girl in the dance floor. Sorry, Josecita. As a potential fight now, which it's all ironic that he said no to De La Hoya. No, this fight is not going to happen, just for it to happen.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And I feel like we talk about Ryan every single episode that we have done
because he's been talking about. He now says his 1 week it was Devin Haney, the next week was Rolly, and then it was Isaac, and then it was back to Rolly. Like he's just been in this limbo, but now everything seems to be becoming official. So this is the last time I'll mention you, Ryan, into your fight's official.
He's a heartbroken fan right now. Then he's an annoyed fan.
Yeah, but removing Ryan out of this conversation, if you're telling me Tszyu, Keith Thurman, co-main Isaac versus Rolly, and supposedly Tank's supposed to fight Frank Martin as Amazon's first pay-per-view, you're talking about a pretty stacked card for a fighting match for the first Amazon pay-per-view. Hey, Frank Martin's not that bad. I was worried it was going to be Ryder Valenzuela. Frank Martin's decent, right? He's all right.
I just hate that. I hate these words, decent.
Well, what do you want me to say?
Enough.
What do you want me to say? He's not going to fight Shakur. Let's be real. We already threw a shade to Tank for this. He was not going to fight anybody, and I literally have forgotten about Frank Martin this whole time that we've been talking.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, is that really the one you want to go with?
No, what I'm saying is overall, they're going to have a decent card for Amazon's first pay-per-view.
A perfect way would have been Tank and Pitbull 2, Rolly Ryan.
Yes. No, I don't care to see Tank versus Pitbull.
No, but I mean, I'm
Give
talking...
me Pitbull versus Frank Martin, Rolly versus Ryan, and then you can give me Tank versus Shakur as the main event. That's
too much under Tszyu and Keith. They're not going to make a super card.
No, I never said Tszyu.
Well, I thought you were focusing on the first pay-per-view.
Yeah, we'll remove Tszyu.
Nah, I think Tszyu needs that mainstream. To generate that fight with Charlo, he needs that mainstream look.
I guess.
Let's be real. Like promoting wise, it's good for Tszyu. I like Tszyu, so we like Tszyu, but he does need a little bit more of that mainstream shine.
Yeah, well, I mean, sounds like PBC's trying to go big for this first pay-per-view fight. It's not big enough for you. We're never going to agree on that. Boxing is what it is.
No, I like Tszyu, Thurman, and Pitbull and Rolly.
I mean, yeah, it's decent.
I like that.
It's decent, but you don't want Frank Martin and Tank to be on it. Best.
I guess just show
because you don't want him to be above Tszyu and Keith Thurman because that's what it is. Tank's the biggest star among all.
He's not gonna be above him.
Tszyu and Keith Thurman would be the opening card.
Actually, why wouldn't they have given me Thurman Tank? That was rumored a year ago.
Oh my God, that's bien. That's bien.
Come on.
154 from 135. That's a huge jump. Not even Bud is.
You wouldn't be interested at 147 Tank Thurman.
No, give me Boots Ennis versus Tank. I don't give a fuck to see
Boots
Tank.
annihilates him.
I don't care to see Tank with like these lower tier fighters. I will.
Oh, you gonna say Thurman's a low tier fighter but defend John Ryder? Get the fuck out of here. Get out.
Look, fucking Frank Martin has been way more active than Thurman. There's a huge chance that Tank would beat Thurman and get all the fucking credit we didn't deserve.
But the fun of it, though. That's the fun of it. Two names. Meeting at a catch weight almost, basically, at 147. Like, Frank Martin, cool. Like, yeah, go in there. Survive. Try to survive Tank. You're just going to end up like the rest.
Yeah.
You don't have an X factor that makes it go, oh, but there's something about Frank Martin, man, where Tank, I don't know if he can do this against Tank. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't think about that when it comes to Frank Martin. Fuck. Like, go ahead. Fight Tank.
Yeah, and he lost a lot of credit ever since he backed out of that Shakur fight. So
yeah, so, If it happens, it is what it is.
But what does make me happy, it seems that we have a date for Bivol and Arthur Beterbiev.
Let's talk about some real fighters around here.
Thank you. Seems like we have them booked for June, Saudi. I know we kind of mentioned that there was no way this fight wouldn't happen since Bivol had already signed. There was
no way out of this one.
Yeah, there was no way Arthur wasn't going to sign, so that's good news. I like to have good news in boxing.
Hey, in my opinion, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I think this fight, hot take, I'm more excited for Beterbiev and Bivol than I am for Canelo Benavidez. It's a hot take. It's a hot take. Tell me what y'all feel.
They're pretty even.
Yeah,
they're pretty even.
That's what I'm saying. Like a hot take. Like you. That's a good debate.
I mean, I love pancakes, but I think I like waffles a little more.
I like waffles too, and Beterbiev brings that waffle to me. Lego my ego.
Yeah, you add a little chicken on top. We in it. We in it, boy.
Chicken and waffles. Beterbiev Bivol.
But UFC 300. If we switch it over to your favorite combat sports, if you hate boxing.
So I don't hate boxing.
It's okay, this ride. I have my boxing crew on my end, UFC crew on your end. Anyone by now should understand that we got our thing. You like the fat girls? I like the little.
We can literally create maybe even a live one day and have the people comment as to who debating is what's better right now, MMA or boxing.
That's not what I just said.
No.
That's literally not what I said.
I'm proposing to you a debate.
That's fine, but that's not what I said. I said you hate boxing, you love UFC. Let's talk about it because we're almost done completing UFC 300 card because we just get another announcement for the UFC 300.
UFC has acquired the rights and have signed possibly the savior of this horrid women's bantamweight division. Because I know y'all touched on it about that fight with Pennington and Bueno Silva. I mean, realistically, the only stars in that division are Juliana Pena. I'm not going to mention this next girl's name quite yet, but you got Juliana Pena, you got maybe Aldana, Misha Tate, she's kind of sexy. You know what I'm saying? But the possible savior is here. Kayla Harrison has signed over to the UFC, coming over from PFL, has a fight booked with Holly Holm. I know you kind of questioned it, like, why Holly Holm?
Yes.
And it's very simple. Holly Holm still has name value. She's going to be always remembered for her boxing, but most of all for that demolishing knockout over Ronda Rousey. Yeah. And here's the beauty about Kayla. In a sense, she's the new Ronda Rousey. That's what it is with her.
Yeah, but I mean, because since she's just getting signed, and I know we've kind of mentioned this in the last couple of videos about these PFL fighters and Bellator fighters getting signed, it's like, where do we rank them? Because obviously they're proven in their own right, you know. So I guess Holly Holm is a good start, but where do you think she should go after? So here's where I think the women's division is going to go. Pennington just beat Bueno Silva. I think the next challenger is going to be Juliana Pena. She still has cachet. Kayla beats Holly Holm. She might be kind of very similar to when Michael Chandler came over and beat Dan Hooker. Right away got that shot against Charles Oliveira. Yeah.
Kayla Harrison versus Juliana Pena would be probably the biggest fight you can make here in this division at this current time, unless the return of the Lioness and we get that big fight. So the thing with PFL is that they really, when they merged with Bellator, they really wanted Kayla Harrison versus Chris Cyborg.
Oh, okay.
Did not happen. Now, if UFC can capitalize and Kayla can get a win or two under that belt, you can make a super fight of Kayla versus Amanda Nunes. That is worth a pay-per-view.
Okay.
Now, there's a lot of factors that have to kind of fall into place for that, but that's really this is the point of Kayla Harrison coming over. This is why Dana made that big move to bring her over. And the thing about Kayla that I'm interested in, that we kind of touched on, at PFL, she was fighting at 155. That is a tank of a woman. She has to fight at 135 in the UFC. That's the highest division that they have, is 135. Now, according to sources, she did a test cut to see how she would feel at 135. And apparently, according to her in her corner, it went well. Like, she can take the cut.
Huh. That's interesting because That makes you wonder that if she comes to the UFC and starts sucking.
Oh, then the theory is real. To really be the king of combat or queen of combat, you have to go through the UFC. Mm-hmm. Like, we can look at PFL and Bellator and be like, there's guys there that can probably go into the UFC, but there isn't a lineup where you can go through and be like for example, when we touched on Vadim Nemkov, you know, he's great. To me, he's the best light heavyweight in the world in MMA. But we don't know that until he goes and fights an Alex Pereira or a Yuri Prochaska. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That'll be the case with Kayla. If Kayla can steamroll through these women in the UFC, she's a real deal. Now, she lost her last fight in the PFL, and it was huge. It was a huge upset. But at the same time, the thing with Kayla, I think she was kind of getting complacent. She was a big fish in a small pond that kind of slept a little bit, and a smaller fish came in bitter. You know what I'm saying? So now we're really going to see Kayla now at the age of 33, I believe. She's in the prime of her career. She doesn't have too many years. It's very similar to when Michael Chandler came to Bellator, or to UFC from Bellator. So we'll see. The division needs the shake-up. That was a horrid co-main event that I saw last Saturday. I don't know. Raquel Pennington's fight IQ is 0. She kept clinching. I don't even want to get into it.
You're like, I'm glad.
I'm done. I would have ran it on. Oh my God. But speaking of potential title fights, Stipe Miocic has reportedly declined a fight with Tom Aspinall. Aspinall wanted the fight. Stipe said, no, I'm willing to wait for John Jones. That just yells one thing for me. Cash out.
For John Jones.
For Stipe.
And John Jones.
Potentially John.
Yeah.
But Stipe basically confirmed in the sense of, I'm not waiting for you. I don't want to fight you. I want my last fight with John Jones.
Yeah. And so, I mean, kind of reiterating again. So, Tom, what now? What do we do with Tom?
See, that's...
this keeps sucking for him.
This is a situation of where, going back to the UFC 300, the UFC 300's all filled out. There's just one spot left.
Yeah.
Because Zhang Weili is now going to defend her title against Yan Xiaonan in first ever China versus China fight. That's going to be a banger as a co-main. And then you also have Gaethje Holloway as a featured title bout. You can throw in Tom Aspinall and maybe Alex Pereira. You know what I'm saying? That's the only other logical. It depends on how active Tom wants to be. Now, if not, then UFC 300 has a very, very tough pickle with that main event left, because there's not a lot of chess pieces left on the board.
Yeah, because I mean, at this point with DDP's performance, like, actually, you're here.
I'm here.
Did you win? Did he win or not?
DDP?
Yes. Be honest. To stop with the bullshit. I want to know. Because I had a tie going into the 5th, I think Sean did enough to win the 5th round.
So I had a tie going into the 5th as well. I think Sean started the 5th round off strong. Like, he was piecing them up. DDP got his takedowns and he got some leg kicks in.
I think his aggressiveness could easily confuse any judge. But nothing was really landing. I mean, I know he was all Sean Strickland was all, bloody at the end, but I mean, it was just due to one punch that landed clean.
And an elbow.
And an elbow. But I mean, I don't know, man.
It's because here's the thing. It depends on how you scored the second round. Because the second round was a swing round.
Okay, yeah. I thought it was the third one, so it was the second one.
The second round.
Yeah, the second round was, I thought the same thing. I knew it was either the second or third one. That was like, you can technically go either way. But again, even though DDP showed a lot of aggressiveness, I felt that Sean had the more clean counter punches and had the cleaner strikes.
So watching the second round, I mean, I vividly remember giving it to Sean Strickland, but I also remember Duplessis kind of like starting to adjust. He started to adjust a little more. Like, you could see him try to like time his shots better to Strickland. So I think DDP did more overall things. Strickland on the feet dominated Duplessis.
But this wasn't a fight on the ground. Like, yes,
Yeah, I agree.
He got his takedowns, it wasn't.
Yeah, I agree. So it just depends on the judge, because you look at the leg kicks. DDP did a number of leg kicks on him. He got his 6 takedowns effortlessly, and I think that's what goes back to what you're saying. If you look sexy, you can pass. And the fact that he got some effortless takedowns,
But again, I don't know. This is where I get confused with UFC, because it's like, okay, you got effortless takedowns, but it wasn't like he was dominating on the ground. Like everything went right back up to to striking.
But I think it's because also that though the 3rd and 4th round, Duplessis just looked so good. You're piecing him up.
He's cute, yes, but I mean, it doesn't change the fact that most of us had it tied after the 4th, and Sean won the 5th.
I really thought that they were going to go with the draw.
That's what, my intern Adi said, that he would have been 100% okay with the draw, and I agree. I would have been okay with the draw too.
I think I had it as a draw, but at the same time, I could see why DDP could win by split decision, and I could see why Sean Strickland could win by split decision.
That's why the draw would have been perfect.
I think
Sorry, continue. I think we were about to say the same thing.
A rematch?
I think the problem with the draw would have been, now there's nothing to book for UFC 300. Because that's the whole point of me bringing this conversation up, is that, yes, right now, UFC 300 can potentially be safe with Izzy, DDP, right? It's like, it's an obvious, let's book it. I'm not saying that it's a strong headline. I'm just saying, this seems to be the go-to at this point, because apparently we just got news that DDP sent an offer and had agreed to make an offer to Izzy for UFC 300 to make sure he was going to be available, for that week.
I heard.
But my whole point of bringing this whole conversation was that, how strong is this headline when there's too many what ifs on the performance of DDP.
I want to take the fight if I'm DDP. I don't offer the fight because you took too much damage on that Sean Strickland fight.
Yeah.
Izzy is known to capitalize on that kind of striking. So if you had a problem, if Duplessis had problems with Sean striking, he's gonna have problems with Izzy's striking as well. Mm-hmm. Now the only thing that makes it easier is that Izzy's defense is not as good as Sean Strickland's.
Yeah.
So that's where Duplessis can have a little bit of advantage.
Yeah, because DDP, if he closes that the gap, and he's super aggressive, he's probably going to find his way into Izzy, and then it's just a matter of, hey, can Izzy take those punches? Because he was swinging nonstop power punches, bro.
And I know Dana White also said he had Sean Strickland winning.
Yep.
Here's the thing about Dana White. Maybe he hasn't realized it, or maybe he's playing poker face. He's going to do Duplessis on assignment. It's just a matter of where and when. We know what Sean Strickland's next fight is probably going to be. It's going to be Hamza.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying? He's going to feed Sean to Hamza.
Yeah.
Because Hamza's reportedly
mad. But I still don't think Hamza... I would not say Strickland can't hold his own against Hamza.
He gets... By the first 2 rounds, Strickland's winning that fight. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
So but at the same time, Hamza's mad because he's not getting the next title shot. He said he was promising. First of all, shut up, Hamza. You called out 9 people. I'm tired of you doing that. Second of all, you got to earn it. You haven't beat a ranked middleweight. Beating Sean Strickland is a perfect way to earn yourself a title shot. Third of all, Hamza looks at that fight, and if he saw what Duplessis can do on the ground, he's just salivating. Dana, give me the fight. That's really what's going to be the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think UFC being headlined by Izzy DDP is a strong headline. I would even consider giving Izzy Pereira rematch. I think that's a better fight, but obviously the best of all of those would be if Alex just moved up and fought, Aspinal.
Or maybe we could troll
and get what?
Conor Taylor. And they were saving this for the whole time. By the way, if you haven't seen the trailer to Roadhouse, I don't do a lot of promoting around here. Watch it. Conor's a menace. He's an absolute unit. We know where the trend was going. We know where the cocaine was at. It was all in that trailer, baby.
Yep. Hell yeah.
So, aside from that, glad to be back. Missed y'all. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit that notification bell. Send it to everybody. We're going to be back on Sunday to bring you that reaction from Munguia Ryder, because that audition, it's going to be like every other one.
Yep.
So stay tuned.